Hey everybody, today I want to talk about, is it dangerous to live in the Philippines? Is the Philippines safe? Well, it may be more dangerous than you think.
It's dangerous?
It's dangerous.
Oh.
One of the big dangers in the Philippines is fire. We were in Cebu, we were at SM Seaside, and we were up on the roof, and this fire broke out across the way. And we were up there a good 15 minutes, and no fire trucks or emergency vehicles had reached the fire yet. The next day we read that it involved a business and a couple dozen homes. Fire, because the inability to get a fire truck to put out the blaze at your home is one of the dangers of the Philippines. You know, living in your house here in the Philippines, the only thing that I find unsafe or I fear is fire. You know, they put bars on the windows, and in case of a fire, you know, it's going to be harder to get out of the house. It's the one thing you can't control. Janet and I always unplug all the appliances except for, you know, the refrigerator and freezer and thing, air conditioner. But fire is the only thing I worry about at home. I don't worry about people breaking in. I don't worry about people going into our garage and taking stuff. People will take more things as crimes of opportunity. If you leave a shovel outside or a rake or your gloves or a t-shirt and you just leave it outside, leave it unattended, somebody might pick it up. And that's probably the only theft you would have around your house. Fire is the number one thing I worry about in our home. Having an escape plan to get out of the house, and you know, just keeping an eye on your surroundings with the electrical wires and things. But living in your house, I don't fear burglary. I don't fear people breaking in. I don't fear being assaulted in our house or our neighborhood at that matter. As for traveling I found is very safe, but again, you have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to make sure you keep all your valuables and your possessions with you or near you. Again, it's crimes of opportunity. If you leave your bag unattended, somebody might take your bag. So traveling I find is safe. The Westerners coming here to the Philippines really have nothing to fear in their traveling. Just keep an eye on your possessions. Just like at any airport, anywhere in the world, keep an eye on your belongings, keep them close. Banking, I have no fears of banking here in the Philippines. I find banking here is pretty safe. I'm able to go to ATM machines, take money out, and I'm not worried about someone behind me trying to rob me of my cash. There's always security guards around during the day. The banks themselves, I've had a bank account now for almost a year, and I haven't had any issues with my money. So far, so good. I find banking here in the Philippines to be safe. I would only keep up to maybe, you know, 1 million pesos at the most here in the Philippines. The rest I would keep in my U.S. bank. There's no bank safer than an American bank. So, as we all know, keep your money where you can get hold of it. Don't have a fear of having some money in a Philippine bank, but keep the majority of your money in your U.S. bank accounts. Tell you a story I heard from Chris in Cebu on a video he did years back, how he moved into his apartment and a neighbor, a foreigner, came up to him and wanted his password to his Wi-Fi. And you know, foreigners are going to take advantage of you if you become an easy mark to them. Don't give out your password. Don't give out your personal information to foreigners. Don't loan money to foreigners until you get to know somebody. When you first get here, you might be a little lonely. Yeah, you're making a friend, but be careful that friend doesn't take advantage of you. That's one of the dangers here in the Philippines, are other foreigners taking advantage of you. The same thing goes with a video I remember seeing from Steve on his Philippine info channel, where he said he friended a neighbor, and that neighbor started coming over to his house every day. And you know, you want a Coke, snack to eat. At first you're being a good host and you're going ahead and offering them a Coke or a beer, a snack. You sit and you talk. But then these people start taking advantage of you. They'll be showing up every day and, you know, expecting to get fed, expecting, you know, 1, 2, or 3 Cokes, expecting 1, 2, or 3 beers. It isn't the cost of this beer or the Coke or the snack. It's that they're taking advantage of you. A good neighbor, if he comes over a few times and you're always having a beer together or a Coke together or something, he's going to bring drinks. He's going to say, here, I brought some beer this time. That's what good neighbors do. Don't be taken advantage of by other foreigners. Most of you know the story of Sebastian. He went into the Why Not and he got into an altercation with another foreigner. I don't think it was an American. I have no idea who it was, but he got into an altercation with the foreigner and ended up on the ground with a broken arm. Most fights here, the vast majority of all fights that I've seen or heard about here are foreigner on foreigner. And it might be different nationalities, but it's never, hardly ever, a Filipino and a foreigner. It's always a foreigner on a foreigner. You have to be careful if you're out drinking, because drinking and foreigners, when someone gets drunk, who knows what can happen. Be careful of your surroundings when you're out drinking. Oops. I hope you take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And leave me a comment below. Do you think the Philippines is safe? And talking politics, Janet and I were in Cebu, not this last trip, but the trip before in January. And we were outside of Bo's Coffee having a drink. And there were these 3 guys sitting at a table near us, 3 foreigners, 2 for sure were Americans, the 3rd I didn't know. They were sitting there having their coffee, talking. We didn't pay too much attention to it. Then all of a sudden, they started yelling at each other, and one guy threw his coffee on the other guy, called him an effing liberal. So don't talk politics. You know, if you have a really good friend and you can have a discussion, that's great. I love having a discussion about politics. But here in the Philippines, people are on one side or the other, and they always turn into an altercation. They always turn into more of a argument than a discussion. I have many friends here who, when politics comes up as a subject, will leave the table. They'll go sit somewhere else. They'll go say hello to someone else. They don't want anything to do with talking politics. Choose your friends careful. Have your conversations with people you trust that won't get out of control, that will talk to you and have a friendly discussion, be able to make their point, and not getting to a screaming match, just calling you an idiot and saying that all your opinions are wrong and that you're blind. 2 sides to every story. There's 2 sides to every political issue. Be careful how you talk politics with foreigners, and also be very careful talking politics with foreigners from other countries. Don't get involved with this Russian-U.S. conflict or Chinese-U.S. conflict, or, you know, Russian-Ukraine conflict with other foreigners, because it's none of our business really, because we're here in the Philippines to enjoy our retirement. We're here to live our life and have a peaceful life. Discuss basketball, discuss football, discuss fishing, anything else. Politics is a dangerous subject to talk about nowadays. And definitely don't talk about Philippine politics. You don't know what you're talking about, and you don't know who's listening. The other thing I'm finding here more and more common, and Janet and I we were involved in this, is road rage. We were leaving, right? We were leaving downtown Dumaguete.
Yeah, 2 times now.
She was so scared. You know, she wanted me to pull over and get off the bike, and you know me, I'm a hot-headed guy too. Traffic was backed up. Some truck on the highway going towards Bacan from Dumaguete was making a delivery and taking up a lot of the road, and the traffic was just jammed up. It seemed like 4 lanes trying to get into one. And you know, the motorcycles and the trikes, they're going to squeeze in front of cars and trucks. And the cars and trucks are going nowhere. It's like crawling at best. Well, this one guy in his car, he was so mad at the motorbikes getting in front of him that he just made a right-hand turn and went into the motorbikes. And then he hit my foot, you know, he hit our motorbike and everybody else around us. And when I tapped on his window, not lightly, but I tapped on his window like, hey, All of a sudden, it was like out in the Old West. You know, he's reaching underneath his seat, pulled out this big bar, yellow pipe, and it's shaking it outside the window like he wanted to fight, but he wouldn't get out of his car. He ended up in the lane going the opposite direction and just took off speeding down the road, beeping his horn, everybody, you know, diving out of his way, and who knows where he went to. There's more and more foreigners here. They're not used to the traffic. It's hot. Maybe his air conditioning didn't work, but being behind the wheel of a car is a deadly weapon. And road rage, that's the second instance of road rage. The other one, the guy just turned right into our motorbike and hit Janet's foot, didn't hit me. And then when I looked at him like, what are you doing? He just put his hands in the air like, I'm going over there, get out of my way. Because they're in the car or they're in a truck, and this guy was a Filipino, by the way, in their car or their truck, they think they have the right of way because they're protected, they're surrounded in their vehicle. Be careful of your surroundings, be careful of these guys driving, careful of the road rage, especially in traffic. You know, you have to watch out for the other guys so much, and the Philippines is dangerous. One, I'm scared of fire, and two, I'm scared of trucks and drivers on the highway who really have little regard for people on their motorbikes. They just think they beep their horn and everybody should move out of their way. Many, many, many of the drivers are great. They get behind you, they beep to let you know they're there, and they pass normal. But there's so many people here who pass and they only give you an inch or two and come in the other direction also. Janet gets scared of my driving, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the dangers here are driving on the highways, possibility of fire in your home, know where the extinguisher is, have an exit plan, other foreigners. So be careful of your surroundings, know where your valuables are, don't flash your money, don't flash your jewelry, don't flash your possessions. Mind your own business as much as you can. Pick your friends wisely. Watch who you have discussions with about politics. Careful on the road. Careful of the road rage. Guys that are in a hurry. But when you're riding your motorbike down the roads, careful of the dogs running out in front of you. If you see a dog on the side of the road and he's walking, beep your horn at him. Most of the time they'll look at you and stay out of your way. Don't get caught by surprise with a dog running directly in front of you on your motorbike. And be careful with your bike. I finally went down. You know, we pulled into a Jollibee when we were in Cebu. It was raining. I had my raincoat on. I had a big bag in front of me and a big backpack in front of me. I didn't make the turn right. There was a dip in the road and I went down. Went down slow. You know, Janet was on the back. She got off before we went down. She's quick. But anything can happen at any time. So be aware. Thank you guys. Until next time. Watch these videos that we've done. Let's go.
Bye, guys.
Bye guys.